Goldberg, your President of Mapacha, and it's been quite the year. I've had many wonderful experiences, some not so wonderful experiences, and I learned a ton that I can apply to real life. For example, I learned that making improvements is a lot easier said than done. When I started as president of Mapacha, I had a vision of Mapacha that I knew what I wanted it to look like. I knew what improvements I could make to the base map, and I thought that everyone would agree with me and go along without complaint. That was most definitely not the case. I had to settle with people every step of the way who were first wanting compensation for me denying them energy units, and second, filing a class action suit against me for losing them well-being points. Change is hard. It's not something you can accomplish overnight. It's not something you're going to accomplish alone. You have to be able to persevere. You have to be able to persuade people to your point of view, and you have to believe in your vision. You have to believe in what you think is better for somebody. No matter what you're trying to improve, you have to believe it makes things better. And in addition to that, I learned you have to have a plan. Due to the fact that I underestimated the amount of resistance that my policies would cause, I did not have a plan. See, before the Civic Mirror, I didn't really plan for things. Most things were done at the last minute without a plan. I did not study for tests, nor did I plan for big projects. I simply sat down, whether it be the test day or the day before the project is due, and I would do it and hope it turned out okay. And most of the time it did. But that was working alone, doing relatively easy things. For more challenging things, like managing the Civic Mirror, I was not as successful without a plan. I had to build relationships on the fly. I had to create offices, assign jobs on the fly. I had to settle with people on the fly. And that's very, very difficult to do. If I had to do it over again, I would have made a comprehensive plan for the most probable possibilities, and I would have looked back at it every time I did something. And from now on, I will be more diligent about making a plan and following through with said plan whenever I do anything. Except maybe the tests, though they're still easy. And the last thing I learned that was major was the fact that you have to build relationships. You cannot work alone. When I started, I thought I could work alone as president of Mapacha, and everyone would just kind of bow their heads and generally submit to my will. That most definitely did not happen. I was able to accomplish as much as I could thanks to a group of 5 boys that I was, I guess, leader of, and that pooled their resources to allow me to play with a much larger amount of money and thus secure a more influential access, and also due to my officers in the government, both in Congress and the cabinet members that I appointed. All of you made it possible for me to do as much as I did, even though you may have dragged it in some different direction of yours that you wanted. Without you, I couldn't have done it, and I recognize that now. In the future, that will be one of my first priorities, to build relationships with people and keep those relationships so we can use them later. I do have some minor gripes about the Civic Mirror. Mostly based on some of the annoying features of the website, such as being unable to check participation, or even to check properly someone is online. During the beginning of the Civic Mirror, I was attempting to converse with Chelsea, our Speaker of the House, about how our country is going to work. Unfortunately for us, the Civic Mirror chat system is rather broken. And there's also no way to check that someone's online because because it only refreshes whenever you refresh the page, and only on certain pages. So I was unable to put together some sort of communication with Chelsea. I was also unable to put together any sort of communication with people who didn't accept trades. Another gripe of mine was perhaps my fault, in that there was not enough use of the discussion board. The discussion board was supposed to be my catalyst, my area for people to tell me what they wanted, to give suggestions, to criticize, and my way to inform everyone of something. It did not work out that way. People did not check the discussion board, and most of my posts got no replies whatsoever. I do believe I could have changed that, and if I had a solid plan, I think it would have happened. But above all, what I think I learned was the fact that everyone is looking out for their own interests. And however convoluted it may seem, everyone looking out for their own interests makes for a pretty good system of government. Our country did not crash and burn like another Civic Mirror country that I looked at. Our country did not rise as high as I hoped, but what I thought was rising high was probably someone else's definition of dipping the bottom pits of uselessness. But I'm happy with the progress that we've made, and my only wish was that we could have played another year and seen what would have happened. I was looking forward to it. But I thank you, the class, and I thank you, Miss Goldberg, for putting on the Civic Mirror and making it an enjoyable experience for me. So, thank you.